was a small wooden gate in my grandmother's yard, creaky, worn by time, and painted a faded blue that had seen 100 storms. Back then, we didn't have a manicured lawn or designer planters. But something magical happened every morning when the sun hit the old brick path. It felt like home. That memory, simple, unfiltered, full of warmth, got me thinking, what if we could bring that same feeling into our own small front yards? No matter how tiny the space, with a little rustic charm, we can turn it into a quiet sanctuary. Greetings from Freshomz. We're here to bring your dream home and garden to life with fun and practical tips. Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your friends who love design as much as you do. There's a gentle romance to a cottage-style entrance squeezed into a narrow lot. A mismatched chair, a wool throw draped over its back, and a mason jar of tiny wildflowers catching the morning sun. In these images, the gate is low and inviting, paint soft and time-worn, and pathways curve like lines from a storybook. The scene suggests conversations with neighbors, slow cups of tea by the step, and the small rituals that make a space feel lived in. Even a slim strip of earth becomes a layered vignette. Low herbs at the curb, a taller cottage rose nearer the door, and a reclaimed ladder leaning with trailing ivy. This subtitle evokes the intimate warmth of a home that's welcoming, not showy, where texture and memory matter more than symmetry, and every object wears its past beautifully. Stay inspired with Freshomz. Scan this QR code to join our WhatsApp channel for daily design ideas and direct access to our creative community. Imagine stepping into a compact front yard and being greeted by height, texture, and visual rhythm rather than empty space. In the slideshow, weathered wooden crates, galvanized tubs, and stacked terracotta create vertical lines that lift the eye. A cluster of planters at different levels becomes a living sculpture. Trailing vines soften edges while upright grasses add movement. The beauty here is in the contrast. Rough-hewn wood against soft lamb's ear, rusted metal beside bright succulents. These arrangements whisper of thrifted markets and afternoons spent potting, giving a small yard an intentional, curated look that feels expansive because it draws the gaze up and along, not just across. Dusk in a small front yard can feel magical when light is chosen for mood rather than sheer brightness. Picture a narrow path edged with low lanterns, each casting a warm, flickering glow that paints the gravel and the tips of time. The slideshow shows how points of light carve pockets of intimacy. A hanging lantern by the doorway. A string of warm bulbs wound through a low trellis. Mason jar candles on a step. These touches turn arriving home into a little ritual. Shoes off, door open, and the world outside muffled by gentle amber light. It's the kind of scene that invites whispered conversation and the soft satisfaction of a day well ended. There's history stitched into reclaimed wood. Nail holes, sun-bleached grain, and the tiny scars of former lives. The images celebrate fences, signage, and planter boxes built from salvaged boards, each piece a tactile reminder of earlier seasons. A bench made from an old pallet or a mailbox post fashioned from barnwood lends authenticity and warmth to a small front yard. These accents don't shout. They settle into the setting, layering memory and texture. The mood they create is quietly confident. A place curated with care, where sustainability and beauty intersect in the honest patina of wood that's been loved before. When horizontal space is scarce, the images turn upward. Vertical planters, ladder gardens, and pockets of herbs mounted on fences. Climbing roses thread through lattices, succulents nestly in hanging pockets, trailing vines soften brick. The visual story is one of elevation and surprise. The eye follows greens as they climb, revealing new details at each level. These vertical compositions give an impression of abundance and depth without overwhelming the footprint. They promise a continuous, living backdrop that changes with the seasons, offering small discoveries on every visit. A path in a small front yard becomes a narrative thread, stepping stones that wobble with character, gravel that crunches underfoot, and uneven pavers edged with time. The slideshow frames these walkways as more than functional routes. They are invitations, choreographed to slow the pace and encourage lingering. Each surface tells a little story. River stones smoothed by time, flagstones reclaimed from a demolished patio, and a narrow bead of brick that recalls an old walkway. Together they guide you toward the door, hinting at the style inside and setting the tone for the home beyond. You don't need an interior designer's budget to craft rustic charm. The images spotlight thrifted finds and clever repurposes. A crate-turned planter, an old ladder doubling as a plant stand, or a chipped enamel basin brimming with blooms. These small, affordable choices map a path to personality, allowing the front yard to feel curated rather than curated for money. The story these scenes tell is of resourcefulness, of afternoons spent hunting markets, repainting a metal stool, and arranging jars on a windowsill. The result is a place that reflects lived experience more than expense. Seasons rewrite a small front yard's mood. Spring is about fresh shoots and pastel pots. Summer about humming bees and fruity scents. Autumn brings oak leaves and warm plaid throws. And winter highlights silhouettes and evergreen accents. The slideshow captures these rotating chapters. A wreath of dried hydrangea for fall. A cluster of fragrant rosemary in winter. A garland of lights through December. Each image suggests rituals tied to time, swapping cushions, tucking in frost-sensitive plants, and welcoming holiday visitors. It's a gentle reminder that a small yard can be endlessly reimagined to match the season's voice. The plants pictured belong to a cozy, cottage palette. Lavender, thyme, small roses, sedum, and boxwood clipped in friendly shapes. They're chosen for scent, texture, and resilience, fitting into narrow beds and containers alike. The slides show how a few well-chosen species can create rhythm. A low hedge of thyme, vignettes of potted geraniums, and a climbing clematis that frames a window. The narrative here leans into scent and memory. The brush of lavender on your sleeve, bees that hum contentedly, and the tiny rewards of seasonal blooms that make a front step feel like a soft embrace. Junk becomes treasure in these scenes. A rusted wheelbarrow transformed into a riotous planter, a teapot that now houses a trailing succulent, or an old ladder dressed with pots. Each object carries personality and origin stories: an uncle's hand-me-down, a flea market find, a roadside rescue, and when placed thoughtfully, they anchor the yard's aesthetic. This subtitle's images celebrate the joy of discovery. The right old object can become a focal point, a conversation starter, and a bridge between function and whimsy. A tiny front yard nook can become a favorite room without walls. A single wrought iron chair with a knitted throw, a stool that doubles as a side table, or a bench crammed with pillows. The slideshow imagines these corners bathed in soft light, tea steam curling, a neighbor's dog padding by, and a newspaper folded on a lap. These vignettes emphasize ritual over design perfection. A place to pause, read, or simply watch the street. They convey that even the smallest yards can host slow, meaningful moments. Layering is the secret language of cozy. A burlap sack, a knitted cushion, a frayed canvas awning, and rusted finishes that contrast with soft linens. The images show textiles that withstand outdoor life while whispering warmth. Weatherproof pillows patterned in muted checks, throws folded over backs of chairs, and a rug that tethers a small seating area. This subtitle tells a tactile story. The reassuring weight of a blanket on a cool evening, the rough comfort of jute underfoot, and the way fabrics translate indoor coziness to the open air. For those with little time, the slides showcase plants that reward with minimal fuss. Sedums that laugh at drought, ornamental grasses that sway without constant pruning, and evergreens that provide structure year-round. These plant choices make a small front yard feel abundant without demanding daily attention. The story is one of ease and reliability, a yard that supports life rather than requiring constant caretaking. It's comforting to know the space can look intentionally rustic while still fitting a busy rhythm. Curb appeal in a small yard is about focus. One strong element, like a reclaimed gate, a simple path, or a framing pair of potted trees, organizes the view. The images present compact compositions that read clearly from the street. A painted door as an exclamation point, a tidy band of low plants, and accent lighting that highlights key features. These moments show how restraint creates impact. A few well-placed choices that honor proportion and welcome visitors without cluttering the scene. As day folds into night, the mood of a small front yard shifts profoundly with light. In the slideshow, the evening scenes are cinematic. Soft pools of amber around a bench, fairy lights twine through bare branches, and the silhouette of a rusted sculpture against a deepening sky. Night reveals texture differently, shadows deepen grain in wood, and a small lamp makes a bowl of ivy look full of stars. These images convey a hush and intimacy, suggesting that the best outdoor living is about curated quiet as much as style. So here's to the little things, the mismatched stones, the weathered bench, the wildflowers growing where they please. A front yard doesn't need to be perfect to be beautiful. It just needs to feel real. Thank you for walking this cozy journey with me today. If this video brought a smile to your face, hit that like button, subscribe for more soulful garden ideas, and let me know in the comments, what's one rustic element you'd love to add to your own yard?